Welcome back. This week we have Mercury and Venus changing zodiac signs. We are preparing for our annular solar eclipse in Virgo on Wednesday, October 2nd. And we've got a few other things going on in our sky this week, my friend. Welcome to Keeping It Real with Sidereal, where we talk all things sidereal astrology, including where everybody is this week. So, in this forecast, we are going to talk about our sun, and there's a couple transits that are happening there. We've got where our moon will be transiting, what zodiac signs this week, what the energy is in this cycle as we prepare for the solar eclipse. Plus, we'll talk about Mercury, Venus, and their changing signs, and also Mars, where our motivation and drive will be this week. All right, let's go ahead and dive in, my friend. If you are catching this on YouTube, hello, welcome. If you're catching this on the Cosmic Mystic podcast, hello, my friend. So if you did not know, we have a YouTube channel called Keeping It Real with Sidereal, and we have a podcast called the Cosmic Mystic Podcast. One day, maybe they all will be the same, but for now, that is what it is. And so if you want to see the charts, if you want to see me, come on over to the YouTube channel, Keeping It Real with Sidereal. If you just want to hear me talk about this and just hear what the energy is going to be, then listen over on the Cosmic Mystic podcast. I will say this, though, on the Cosmic Mystic podcast, we've got other things going on over there, like interviews with other amazing people. Plus, we've got deep dives on other topics. So you might just want to subscribe to that too. All links for that will be down below. All right, so let's do our State of the Union for this week. And that is, we've got our sun here at 6 degrees Virgo. Mercury just popped in here to Virgo. We've got Venus at 6 degrees Libra. Venus moved into Libra last week, so we're going to talk about that. We also have Mars over here in Gemini. We've got Jupiter and currently the moon in both Taurus. We've also got Uranus over here retrograde in Taurus. We've got Chiron retrograde in Pisces, Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and Saturn over here still retrograde in Aquarius, and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. We are going to see a Jupiter move into retrograde. And so we're going to talk about more of that next week in our October overview. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and the podcast so that you get notified when that gets released. All right, my friend, let's dive in because we've got some things to talk about. So let's talk about the sun first. The sun, as you know, is our consciousness. And so as it's been moving through that zodiac sign of Virgo for the past week or so, we've been more focused on setting up our systems and our structures, more looking at precision of things, really diving into our daily rituals and routines. And we can see this, right? We just had our autumn equinox happen. And I will just say this for those of you that are like on the real here, the autumn equinox officially doesn't happen until the next couple of days. Like if you pay attention to the sunrise and the sunset, you will see that we are really, really close. We're only minutes off. And then at one point that's going to shift. Right now, we're still kind of teeter-tottering here. So this week really is that energy of balance, of that light and dark, which I did talk about in the podcast episode where I talked all about Virgo and the autumn equinox. So you can listen to that over on the podcast. But this time right here, we're shifting, right? We're changing seasons, and that means that things need to change in our day-to-day routine. One of my good friends, Victoria Sexton, shout out to her, Fortuna Cucina. I would highly recommend. She makes amazing herbal teas, and she's also got these really cool cooking classes that she does. She's got a cooking club, all kinds of stuff. So if you're wanting to cook more at home, healthier meals, or just not have all that processed stuff in them, definitely check her out. That she did a video the other day, and it was talking about how she's starting to make soups, and it's like, yeah, we're right, like our the food even that we're eating is changing because the season is changing. Now here in Texas, we're still in 90 degrees humidity, so like 90% humidity if not more. So we're still not feeling the fall just yet, but I can tell you I did see 60s overnight in our future, and I'm happy about that. So let's talk about this first. We talked about these other ones last week, but there's a new one that popped in here this week, and that is this connection here with Mercury. We actually have this Mercury conjunction happening that starts today, the 23rd, and this is a focus on thinking and communication, short travel, short trips. So there's a lot of adaptability and curiosity here because we're talking about this Mercury energy. And Mercury actually rules over the zodiac sign of Virgo. So this is like super comfortable energy for Virgo and super comfortable energy for Mercury because they're just amplifying each other. So this is like a coming home type energy where it's like, okay, so all the things that Mercury rules is really amplified with this particular conjunction. Now, we do have that opposition that we've talked about in the past of this Neptune, which can create some of that confusion, which can create some of that not quite seeing things clearly. And it's funny, as a matter of fact, I'm not intentionally doing the Breathe with Danny themes that are going through each one of our if you did not know, I'm doing a 22-day breathwork challenge, somatic breathwork challenge, and it's on a private podcast. And so I've been recording those, and I'm recording them based on what's present right now. But it also applies to any time, right? And so this one that I just recorded, which will be coming out for our day 4, is all about bringing forth clarity, because in this time right here with this opposition of the sun and Neptune, we can have a lot of confusion. And sometimes what I found with my clients and even with myself is that clarity gets blocked, right? It's like it's in a busy, I'm going to use this term here, I'm going to use this metaphor here. It's like we're in a bar or we're at a club or at a concert, right? And you're the person that's like way in the back, right? Clarity is the person way in the back that's trying to like make its way through the crowd, and it's trying to push through to get to the front. And that's kind of what this opposition with the sun and Neptune kind of feels like, where everything's really clicking. We know what we want. We're doing all this, but then there's like, wait, are we sure? Are we sure? Or we don't have all the pieces just yet. And they're starting to fall in, but we don't have the space to do that. And so in that particular breath work, we just kind of opened up that space so that clarity could walk forward. So I'll talk to you more about that challenge we're doing. But if you are interested, you can go to thepeaceteacher.com/breathe. It's set up for you to go at any time. You don't have to start on day, 4 where we're going to start, or you don't have to start on day 2. You can start on, day 1 and move through it, even though they're in no particular order. You can do them at any time. All right. So let's go ahead and talk more about our moon, because our moon is preparing for new moon. So let's talk about it's actually our annular solar eclipse. So every single year we have a solar eclipse. It's usually around this time of the year where we see the solar eclipse happen. This year it is in the energy of Virgo. So our new moon that takes place on the 2nd of October is indeed in Virgo, right? Because we can see our sun is currently in Virgo. The moon will be moving over there throughout this week. It'll get closer and closer and closer, as you'll see in a moment, and then we'll move into that new moon energy. So every year when we get to this point, this is a really good opportunity with eclipses to step onto a new path. I love to look at eclipses as portals, as entryways to step on to a new path, to step into something that we've been wanting to step into and just haven't quite seen the entry point yet. This is the opportunity to step into that entry point. And because we're talking about the energy of Virgo, which I will dive into more in the October forecast and in next week's forecast, you'll see that it's going to be more about the energy of our routines and our daily habits. Because in order for us to get to where we want to go, my friend, no matter what we do, it's the habits that we do on a day-to-day basis. It's the way that we are living that actually allows us to execute on our intentions, to execute on our goals, because we're in the energy to attract them. It's not just, sit here and meditate all day. It's not just take an action. It's all combined together so that we can say, hey, angels, spirit, God, divine, like, can I get this, please? Right? And doing the work to do that. And so it's in those day to day routines, it's in those habits where that happens. And so this is that energy of like, okay, what is it that I need to start doing? Or what do I need to amplify in my routines already in my day to day so that I am bringing in what I desire? Okay, so let's talk about the moon. So where's our moon going to be this week? Well, we kick off this week with the moon in Taurus. So we've got the moon here conjunct beginning our week here. So lots of emotion here as we kick off the week because Jupiter always amplifies what's already present. And so with this, where there's a lot of emotion, whether it's positive, happy emotions, which tends to be the case with Jupiter, although we do have that square with Saturn that can make it a little bit more challenging. But good insights, good observations because of that Mercury Sun conjunction, as well as this Chiron sextile here, allowing some of the things maybe that have been blocking you or that you couldn't quite place your finger on to really come out and be heard and be seen. So let's see. She's going to move over into Gemini on Tuesday. So Tuesday through Wednesday, the moon will be in Gemini. And so Gemini is more of, it's an air sign. So it's more of a mental energy. And so there's lots of thoughts, lots of thinking. You might feel distracted, kind of all over the place, jumping from one thing to the other. Really grounding your energy is going to be extremely important and allowing yourself to be flexible. That's one of the things that Gemini is so beautiful about, is that it has that really nice adaptability and flexibility. And so with Virgo, we can get a little bit stuck, not too much because it is ruled by Mercury, but we can get a little bit stuck on it being so perfect, right? And having all the thoughts about why it needs to go this way. But also Virgo can allow some ease in here. So I'm going to say, like, with that, just allow the ease, allow the flexibility, allow the adaptability. This is a great time to do research, to pull thoughts together, to pull ideas together, not necessary to start implementing them or creating them, but really good time to be in that brainstorming, researching, creative, like thinking type energy. And so we'll see that through Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we'll see the moon enter Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. It is the moon's home. The moon rules, Cancer rules over the moon, or the moon rules over Cancer. I said that wrong. So there is this more connection type energy. It's all the water moons are a great time for us to do self-care. I learned this from Vanessa Corazon with the Moonsight Planner. And she always talks about how with the water moons, it's like self-care time, right? And that's always my reminder when we hit a water moon. It's like, have I taken time for myself? Have I nurtured myself? Have I been able to do some practices maybe that I like to do for myself during this time. Now, I am a Cancer moon, so it is my lunar return every time we hit the Cancer moon. So this is a time for me to sit down and reflect and look at my lunar return, to look at what's going to happen for me for the next month. I love to use my lunar return to look at my energy for the next cycle and what that means for me. And so there's some time where I'll be sitting, right, journaling, reflecting, especially now because we are moving into, like, as a whole, as a collective, we are moving into new moon, which means this week here is the opportunity to slow down because the energy is getting to its lowest. And so it's a time to reflect on our past 30 days. This is why I host Sacred CEO right around this time, because we're in that energy of reflection, of reflecting on our past cycle, what's happened. And in particular, we're at the end of a quarter. We've just wrapped up, or we're wrapping up third quarter, and we're going to enter fourth quarter. So as for me, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I'm looking at, what did I do during the past 90 days? Because I can easily sit here and tell you, like, nothing happened. I was really busy, but nothing really happened. But that's not truth, right? When I really sit down and reflect, I can get those tidbits and get those pieces. And that's what Sacred CEO is about, is really taking that time to step into the CEO of our life, of our business, and get a really good picture of what has transpired over the 90 days from fact, not fiction, so that we can move forward into the new season, into the new cycle, whatever that might be, which is the last quarter of this year. So take some time during this Cancer moon through Thursday through about Saturday evening. We'll be in Cancer. So take some time for you to slow down, do some self-care, whatever that is for you, because self-care doesn't just mean going and getting a massage. It doesn't mean, right, going to the spa. It can mean any number of things, my friend, depending on your energy and what works for you. All right. Next, we have the moon moving into, so Saturday evening into Sunday. It will be in Leo, and we actually will kick off next week in the zodiac sign of Leo right before we move into that new moon energy. So let's talk about Leo, because Leo is a fire sign. So we went from the earth sign, which was very grounded and stabilizing. We moved into Gemini, which is that air mental energy. We moved through the water element with Cancer, where that's that creative energy, self-care energy. From a business standpoint, I like to work on creative content or emotional content. And then we move into Sunday with Leo, which is our fire. So we're moving through all four elements this week. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster. But Leo is that action energy of being very visible, of standing out, of putting yourself out there, of also putting yourself first. And so for some of us, that is exactly what we need to do, is we need to put ourselves on stage, center stage, allow ourselves to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. Fire element is also a really great time to make offers, to make sales, to invite people to come join you for something, to work with you for something. So if you've got something that you want to share with people, that would be a great time to do it, my friend. All right, let's take a look at Mercury, as Mercury has moved into Virgo. So we are in Virgo season, and I've talked a lot about Virgo. And as a matter of fact, I have a whole guidebook. If you did not know, I have a whole guidebook on Virgo. Every single month, I put out a guidebook that has the energy of that zodiac. It has the transits, the major transits for that cycle, as well as journal prompts, a ritual that you can do for that particular zodiac, and affirmations that you can use each week, so you can dive deeper into the Virgo energy. You can get that. The link will be down below in the show notes and in the description. You can go to thepeaceteacher.com/guidebook, and it will be there as well. All right. So let's talk about Mercury here. So with Mercury in Virgo, it is again, at home here. It rules over Virgo. So there's an emphasis here on details, effectiveness, like efficiency, streamlining things, cleaning things up. Like Virgo is the perfectionist, right? It's perfecting things. And so we're finding simple ways to do things. We're not convoluting things. And so if you've had, these crazy systems or these crazy routines, I hear sometimes people's routines, because they're like, Danny, I don't have time to do my daily routine. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? And then they tell me all the things, and I'm like, well, how can we simplify that? Because that, no wonder you're not doing it, because there's a million things you're trying to fit into this one little time, and time is currency, my friend. Let me just tell you. So we don't want to have all these convoluted things. We want easy, easy, easy. So there's usually this time with Mercury and Virgo is when the problems, the things that you're stuck on, that they're like, you can't figure it out, but it's like right there in staring you in the face, because you've probably overcomplicated it. I'm just going to raise my hand on this one. This is where you can get that clarity. This is where we can release some of that. And when the moon, no, sorry, when the sun moves away from Neptune, when Mercury moves away from Neptune, we will have a much, much, much more clarity. What I would say right now, because of that opposition that we're seeing, just allow yourself to receive, because you might be receiving that clarity through dreams. You might be receiving it through insights, through downloads. And so just note them. You might not have all the pieces just yet. And so I do want to say that you might not have all the pieces, my friend. So put them, like place them somewhere where okay, like I'm getting this piece, I'm getting this piece, I'm getting this piece. And then once we shift out of that opposition, we'll open that energy up and it will all make sense. Virgo is also very analytical. So there's refinement that is happening here as well. So testing things, retesting things, doing small little tweaks is something that is really great to do during this time. So if you're somebody who likes to test things, or who's afraid to test things and wants it to put it out there right the first time, I'm speaking to you right here. It's okay to test. It's okay to retest. It's okay to make changes. One of the downsides or challenges maybe that we can have with Mercury and Virgo is obsession. And more so coming from this like fretting over it not being perfect, or it not being right, or right, like it not being, it's not right, and it's like you're wanting to keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. My friend, let that go. Part of life is experimentation, right? Everything is an experiment. And when you can start seeing everything as an experiment, as you testing, as you trying, and release the energy of having to have it perfect. I know this, my friend. We were indoctrinated. This is my belief system. If you believe this with me, let me know. I don't think I'm alone, but we were indoctrinated from the time that we were children to have everything perfect, right? We see it in our schools, we see it in the way that our society has been built, is that we have to know exactly the right thing. And I think it's getting even worse right now with social media and us thinking that we can't say that we're going to say or do the wrong thing. And so there's this worry, right? My friend, let it go. Unplug from that belief system, uninstall it from your programming. Life is so much more peaceful and so much more the word that's coming through is like graceful and easier when you stop fretting about whether something is right or not, and you approach it as you're testing, you're playing, you're experimenting. Like, don't you remember as a kid, right? Experimenting in school or class or on a project. Like, I remember like, ooh, what's going to happen when we do this and this, right? And seeing what's created. let's get back to that. Yeah? Are you with me? Okay, if you're with me, let me know. All right. There's a lot of, well, I feel like I'm preaching today. So if you like Danny preaching, here you go. If you don't, I'm sorry. Keep, just fast forward a little bit. All right. Let's talk about these couple of transits that we have here. So we've got a trine over here, which will let me get back to it. That ended on the 27th. We have this trine over here to Uranus, and we have the opposition. So let me just tell you right here, the opposition with Mercury is going to fall off right here on the 28th. There'll be the last day that we'll see that. So on the 29th, we're going to be clear. So by the time we get to the end of this week, we're going to have that ability to kind of move forward with our thinking. So we've just got these few days here where we're going to see that. So let me tell you a little bit about these, because I want you to just have just some little insights here. So with this Uranus connection here that came in on the 21st, so over the weekend, really opened our minds up to new possibilities, to new ways of doing things, to new thoughts, to even opportunities. Maybe even, I don't know about you, but I felt it, and I've felt it over the past a few days here. I felt a lot of that energy. Once it moved, I was like, oh, I have all these ideas and all these new ways of doing things, and starting to see how there's pieces of things that I don't quite have all of the pieces. I can tell that, but I feel like there's a lot of these things coming through, and this is some of that energy that is bringing that in together for us. Now we also have the trine over here to Pluto, and so this kicks in here the beginning of this week here on the 23rd. So this is really good influential energy, because Pluto is very powerful. And so it's very influential. And so it can influence people in a really impactful way. Now, I will say that that does not mean it is good or bad. It just means it is influential, right? We all know people in our lives who are influential in a very positive way. And I'm sure we've encountered people who are influential in a not so good way, right? But this energy is really good for talking people into things. So if think about you as somebody who is a leader in this world. Now, whether that's you leading yourself, leading your family, leading a team, leading a company, you are leading, right? And so you have the power to influence people in a very positive way. And so you can use this energy over this week, because this will pretty much just be this week, leading people into something that is good for them, that is positive for them, that will help them make a transformation in their life, right? So you can really bring these topics forward for people in a really powerful way. And so you also might find under this influence the energy of researching and investigating and kind of uncovering things. So I wouldn't be surprised if things are brought to the surface that maybe have been kind of under the belly, so to speak. They've been kind of deep in the shadows, and they're starting to rise to the surface. For some of you, you might be feeling that. And as you're moving through things, you're like, what is this? It's just things are coming unearthed. And again, they come unearthed for you to do something about. We are never given more than we can handle. That was something that I have learned over and over for myself, and I've seen with my clients. They're so scared of this thing that is coming up. And once they allow it to come through and they can get a different perspective on it and let it go, it shifts everything. So use this energy, my friend. All right, let's talk about Venus, because we've got Venus over in in Libra. And she's got a couple of things that I want to talk about. So first, Venus moved into Libra on the 18th. And so with Venus in Libra, there's harmony, there's balance, there's opening ourselves up to opportunities. We focus with Venus on relationships, beauty, love, money. And so there's a focus here more so on our relationships, whether that's relationship with your intimate partner, relationship with your friends, relationship with business partnerships or collaborations. And there's an opportunity with Venus here in Libra to do some healing, to do some healing of old relationships, healing of old wounds as it relates to money, to relationships, to the struggle of chaos in the breath in the breathwork challenge. We have a breathwork that's all around uh confronting chaos, and that's this is a really good time to do that because we're in a place where we're wanting more ease, we're wanting more balance, we're wanting more harmony, especially as the collective world is extremely chaotic, right? It's very chaotic. And so this is a time for us to really look at how we can put more harmony and confront chaos so that we can allow for more calm, allow for more peace, allow for more ease and fairness. So I love when Venus moves through Libra. And so Venus will be in Libra all the way through the 12th of October. And then we have a couple of things that Venus is doing here. We saw this come in last week. The Venus square Pluto, right? There's some simmering tensions that are arising again, coming forward for us to heal, for us to explore, to like shift, right? Well, then we also have later this week, and it's right here. It's coming in right here on Monday, actually. Let's see it. There we go. We're going to have this trine over here to Mars and this trine over here to Saturn. I want to tell you a little bit about this Saturn one because it is coming and I want you to be kind of prepared. So, with Venus trine Saturn, there's new relationships that may be starting. There is deeper bonds that may be happening from a work standpoint, productivity, or creative things that we're doing are really kind of being nurtured and fostered in this environment. We'll be able to focus on more of the freeness in our expression. We're looking more for quality here, not just quantity. We want value. So as you start thinking about this, where you might be thinking about this with how you're working with people or the things that you're doing in your life, and how is this fair? How is this equal? How is this balanced? How is this cooperative? And how can I create a win-win in my relationships? And if there's not a win-win, then it's probably time for me to let them go. All right. Last one let's look at is Mars over here. Now, Mars is currently going to be making, we've seen these two here, this trine with Venus and this trine with Saturn. It is going to be moving into a couple of different things later on, but let's talk about this Mars and Venus because we saw this Venus energy over here in Libra. And so with Mars though, there's more of a increase of wanting to engage with people, wanting to connect with people, wanting to be in this enjoyment. And so you might find that there's more social activities that are wanting to come through or wanting to come in. And this trine is going to be here for all the way through about mid-October. So there's this nice little shift here as we kind of wind down from the summer activities, but we still have these desires to connect with people and to be around people and have this social engagement. So we still kind of have that energy here in the background. Again, keep in mind that the overall energy is lowering, and so whether it's not, might not be a big old party, but it might be more intimate, small gatherings where you can feel more connected with people. All right, my friend, those are the updates that I have for you for this week in Sidereal Astrology. I do want to share with you that I hope, first off, that you've enjoyed hearing about these transits. If you've enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so you know when we release these videos. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, I did start a 22-day challenge called Breathe with Danny. It is a somatic breathwork challenge. We kicked off on Sunday, September 22nd, the beginning of the autumn equinox. And so, if the challenge is all about helping you find a daily practice to help you find peace in the chaos of whether that's your life and the chaos that you're moving through right now, or it's the external chaos that is happening in our collective world, or it is the internal chaos that is happening. I'd love to invite you to join us into this challenge. You don't, even though we just started, you aren't behind. This is a go at your own pace anytime. It is held on a secret podcast. So there's no apps for you to go to. There's no social media that you need to be on. It is just you and me breathing. And so, if you would like to join us, you can go to thepeaceteacher.com/breathe. Again, they're 22 minutes long. There's a really beautiful healing that is happening in each one as I'm recording it. And I am seeing how somatic breath work and the work that I already do within the Akashic Records is just merging so beautifully. So I'm excited for you to come join us in that breath work. So if you're like, oh, I don't have time to do that, then that's exactly why you need to join Breathe with Danny, the 22-day somatic breathwork challenge, my friend. You don't know how many people I've said like, oh, I'd really like to do that, but I just don't have time. And I'm like, well, that's exactly why you need to do this, because that's 22 minutes for you every single day to help you feel clear, to help you feel grounded, and to clear out what is stopping you, what is blocking you. So if you'd like some healing over the next 22 days, go join that. It's just $22 and you get access to 22 somatic breathwork mini healing sessions. Let me just say. All right, my friend, that wraps us up for today. Let's take a nice deep breath together, letting it go and finding peace. Bye.